American forces thought the hard part was over. They were dead wrong. June 1944, Normandy, France. Allied troops had just pulled off the greatest amphibious invasion in history, but now they faced something even more terrifying. The bocage, ancient hedgerows that turned the French countryside into a death trap. These weren't your garden variety bushes. Picture this. Earthen walls 5 to 15 feet high, packed with centuries of tangled roots, crowned with dense vegetation and trees. The Germans turned every single field into a fortress. Machine gun nests, mortars, Panzerfaust teams waiting in ambush. And American tanks? Completely useless. When Sherman tanks tried climbing over these hedgerows, they'd rear up like horses, exposing their thin belly armor. German anti-tank weapons ripped through them like paper. Tanks got stuck, tracks thrown, crews incinerated. The bocage swallowed entire platoons. Men got lost in the maze. Companies advanced 1,000 yards, only to find themselves cut off and surrounded. For 6 brutal weeks after D-Day, the American advance ground to a halt. Casualties mounted, morale plummeted, generals were desperate. Then, a 29-year-old sergeant from New Jersey had an idea that would change everything. His name was Curtis Culin, 102nd Cavalry Reconnaissance Squadron, 2nd Armored Division. Culin was talking with a Tennessee soldier named Roberts about the hedgerow nightmare when Roberts said something simple. "Why don't we put saw teeth on the front of the tank and just cut through?" Culin grabbed that idea and ran with it. He looked around Normandy and saw the solution everywhere. German beach obstacles, those steel Czech hedgehogs the Nazis had scattered across the landing beaches to stop Allied landing craft. Thousands of them, just sitting there. Culin collected the steel beams, cut them into prongs, and welded them onto the front of a Sherman tank. 4 massive steel tusks angled forward like a fork. On July 14, 1944, they tested it. The Sherman charged the hedgerow at full speed. The steel prongs bit into the earthen wall. The tank's weight drove forward, and it sliced through that centuries-old barrier like a hot knife through butter. No exposed belly, no getting stuck, just raw, unstoppable momentum. General Omar Bradley, commander of all American ground forces in Normandy, witnessed the demonstration. He immediately ordered mass production. Every ordnance unit in Normandy was put to work. Welders worked around the clock, transforming German beach defenses into American breakthrough weapons. The irony was beautiful. Hitler's Atlantic Wall was being turned against him. Within 11 days, around 500 Culin hedgerow cutters were manufactured and installed. Nearly 3/4 of the 2nd Armored Division's Sherman tanks, Stuart light tanks, and M10 tank destroyers got the modification. They called them Rhino tanks, after the charging African beast with its deadly horns. Bradley kept the Rhinos secret. He didn't want the Germans to know what was coming. On July 25, 1944, Operation Cobra launched. 1,500 B-17 and B-25 bombers dropped over 3,000 tons of explosives. Then the Rhino tanks charged. They smashed through hedgerow after hedgerow, opening gaps for infantry to pour through. The bocage that had stalled the Allied advance for 6 weeks was suddenly penetrable. The Germans, who had used those hedgerows to inflict thousands of casualties, were now being overrun. Field after field fell. The American breakout from Normandy had begun. Eisenhower later called Culin's invention a tremendous boost to morale throughout the army. The British developed their own version called prongs, producing over 2,000 by August 1944. But it was Culin's field ingenuity, born from desperation and American innovation, that broke the stalemate. One sergeant, some scrap steel, and a simple idea. That's how the deadliest obstacle in Normandy was conquered. The hedgerow device didn't just save lives, it saved the entire campaign. Without it, The breakout from Normandy might have taken months longer, giving Germany time to reinforce and potentially changing the entire outcome of World War II in Europe. Curtis Culin was awarded the Legion of Merit for his contribution. But the real reward? Thousands of American soldiers who made it home because a tank could finally do what it was built to do: break through and keep moving forward.